Vince here with Fishnetics, so I thought I'd give a recap of the 2021 battle on Bago. It was a tough event for a lot of people. Now, for those who are not familiar with Battle on Bago, it's the largest ice fishing tournament in Wisconsin. It gets a lot of people out on the ice. It's usually the third week in February, starting the week right after sturgeon spearing starts. There were last I saw, there was like over 15,000 tickets purchased, only 4,300 tickets cashed, which meant a lot of people struggled. Lots of report of people just not finding fish, and those that did find fish and would mark them could not get them to bite. And there's a lot of people on social media complaining that Lake Winnebago is doomed. Lake Winnebago is not doomed. Lake Winnebago is actually in really good shape. The water quality is really good. It's just really clear, which makes the bite harder. And the biggest contributing factor is there is a ton of bait fish in the system. There's been some incredible shad spawns the last few years. There hasn't been much winter die off. And there are minnows everywhere in the system. When you do catch fish, they're fat. And if you are keeping them and cleaning them, off the Winnebago system, check out their stomach contents. I guarantee they're stuffed full of fish. Every one that I've caught this year, and I've caught a lot of perch in the Winnebago and Fox River system this year, every single one's just stuffed full of minnows. So that's why a lot of people struggled. Now, I did scouting on Thursday just to give us a starting location. Then I fished Friday and about a half day on Saturday with some friends. I have a snowmobile. I put over 80 miles on my snowmobile from Thursday through Saturday. Moved. If you on Winnebago, because it's just a big featureless basin, and we're out in the mud, which seemed to be where the fish were. You got to just keep moving. If you punch a hole and you don't mark anything in 10-15 minutes, you got to make a move. And so I moved and punched a ton of holes. I run a Milwaukee M18 with a 6-inch light flight, which I just love. It's incredibly lightweight auger option. I went through 5 fully charged Milwaukee 18-volt batteries over those 3 days. We just moved a ton. We fished. When we found fish, they were in 18+ foot of water over mud. We didn't find any fish over sand. I didn't find any fish closer to shore. I didn't find any fish shallower. When I was scouting on Thursday, I found a school of fish at the end of the time I had allocated for scouting, several miles out from Columbia Park on the east side. And I moved all over the place that day. I was all the way up to Brotherton and back, and I didn't find anything. And then finally, and I had a hard stop because I had a meeting to get back to in town. I decided to make a big move. And when I punched a hole, I immediately found and marked fish. I pulled up a big fat perch, about 11 inches long, and then I made another move about 50 yards away just to check the area, and I pulled up a 15-inch walleye. So that was our starting point on Saturday. We got out there at the crack of dawn on Saturday. The school head was nowhere near to be found. We checked the entire area. Now it was snowing pretty good Saturday morning. I checked the area and we never found fish. Once the snow stopped, I looked around, and the guys who were back at our base camp area looked around, and we realized we were in the midst of a bunch of sturgeon shacks. There were no other fishermen anywhere nearby, which is you either found something that nobody else has found or the fish aren't there, and in this case the fish were not there. So we made some moves. We ended up finding another group of fishermen, probably 8 to 12 vehicles, everybody with shacks, and we started punching holes in that area. We didn't crowd them, we stayed outside of them, and we found some fish. I ended up pulling up two 10-inch perch and a fat 14-inch whitebass. Got hold of my friends on the phone. They came over and joined me. My buddy Kevin immediately pulled up a 13-inch whitebass and then a 15-inch walleye. But that's all we pulled out of that area. We marked fish the entire rest of the day. Every 5 minutes, there was more fish coming through on our electronics. They'd come look, and they would go away. Honestly, we should have been a little bit more on top of it. That big group who we saw, they ended up moving, and they were just kind of following the school. And when we kept working those same fish and noticed they moved a few hundred yards. Every few often they would move and move and move and move. I think they had the pattern down a little better than ours. We just didn't follow the school. Saturday, we did not go back to that spot. We met up with some other friends of a guy I was fishing with who had found perch, or not perch, had found walleye the day before. A few miles to the southeast of Oshkosh, again out in the mud flats. So we decided to launch off Merritt Street, make the drive down there. And from a fishing standpoint, that ended up being a mistake. We never found the fish on Saturday. And again, moved all the time. We covered a ton of water. I think I marked 4 fish all day. But they got to meet some other, made some new friends. It ended up being a lot of fun. And we went to the weigh-in. We ended up with our group. We had 5 fish that we turned in. 2 small perch, 2 white bass, and a walleye. And I consider ourselves lucky, considering less than 1 in 3 guys was able to turn in a ticket. I think we did pretty good. Now the hot lures were jigging wraps, clown colored, tipped with waxies. The fish did not want minnows at all, I think, because they could pick up minnow anywhere. And tipping it with waxies worked. We tried tipping it with just a minnow head, with a full minnow, with spikes, combination of spikes and waxies. No interest. They wanted it with the waxies. The few fish that we did catch absolutely hammered the bait. And matter of fact, the big white bass that I ended up catching, that jigging wrap was so far down his throat, it was nuts. I almost didn't get it out. All in all, I mean, it was a pretty fun event. Things I learned this year is you got to move on Winnebago. Move, move, move. And you see that in Facebook groups. You see it on message boards. Everybody says you want to find fish on Bago. Move, move, move. I'm a believer of it because the only time we had any luck was after a whole mess load of moves. Next year, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go scouting on Thursday, find the school, give us a starting point. I'm not going to set up shack in the morning on Friday. I'm just going to keep moving till I find them. I got a one-man flip over, so it's real easy for me to move attached to my snowmobile. And then Saturday, we're going to start in the same area. Matter of fact, if I'm able to get the shack that I want next year, because I'm looking to get a bigger 3-man, I'm probably going to camp out on the ice over Friday night into Saturday and hopefully get some bigger and better fish registered. So that's kind of my recap of this year. The weigh-in, now that they've added a whole bunch of weigh stations, the line goes through really quick. A few years ago, there was a line for Battle on Bago to register your fish that went out blocks. I didn't see any of that this year. Guys came in and got their fish done and they moved. We didn't win anything. I was really close to winning some binoculars, but that's okay. I'm not a fan. I didn't really need a binoculars. I was hoping to win a shack or the boat or the truck or one of the $10,000 jackpots, me and everybody else. So anyway, that's my report from the 2021 Battle on Bago. The ice was also really, really good this year. This had been at the end of about 2 weeks of incredibly cold weather, which put about another foot of ice on the lake. I didn't hear about anybody going in, which is fantastic news. There was easily 18 inches to 20 plus every place I punched a hole. So thanks everybody for watching.